you're a hiring manager or you're a business owner recruiting a first marketing team, what are the red flags?
We need to keep the sales or pitching for business maybe away from marketing.
But when they come in, they've got 1 month to perform. And if they don't perform, they're out.
You're going to be probably out of a job faster if you don't blend with that founder.
Exactly.
Proactivity is the key thing that everyone's looking for.
It's like actually they're really trying to find a unicorn.
So yeah, welcome back guys to another Digital Cheesecake podcast. So today we are talking about red flags when hiring. So
I'm just about to burst into laughter. Sorry, let's kick off.
It's one of those days,
struggled on the topics because there's too many topics to talk about.
So many to talk about.
It's a big topic because everyone is worried about getting jobs, right? So
Exactly.
And also hiring as well.
Yeah.
So like at yesterday's event, loads of people were like worried about how can I put my best foot forward? How can I make sure I can stand outside of the pack and be noticed? Because they're looking around the room and just seeing their counterparts and they're just thinking, oh, bloody hell, how am I going to stand out?
Why are you two smiling so much at each other? I love it.
Because I'm like,
But
what
I
are you going to
agree.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, well, some of them are stressed getting a job. I mean, we had a bit of that, right? So people are stressed getting a job. So like, what's the best way to get the job? Some people are like, I just need to get it. And then you're also going to cover about how actually to find the right person.
Exactly.
In 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about it from both perspectives. So red flags when you're interviewing candidates, but as a candidate, what is actually a red flag to candidates? And you know, what's going to put off your candidates?
And we do a lot of recruitment. We see it all the time. So
Come on, tell us.
especially a lot of starters and you know these startup founders are interviewing and they're not really kind of getting in terms of what it is you need to get across from a question perspective.
Yeah, so we're having this struggle at the moment. So if we take it more from a client's perspective, we are having a few examples of clients actually just putting off candidates by maybe they've said something weird or you know, more about the interview process.
Some people are trying to combine.
So we were talking about that yesterday.
Like, are we allowed to talk about that? Yeah.
So what are the like?
Marketing is meant
examples?
to be everything now, right?
Marketing is supposed to be marketing, digital. Don't put sales onto it.
Yeah, but also, are people combining all these roles? Do you find like they're trying to combine more roles, and then like the candidates are like, I just can't do 15 jobs, man. This is freaking me out.
They are, but I think also the sales bit sometimes creeps in more on startups and smaller companies. But we need to keep the sales or pitching for business maybe away from marketing, because I do think they are separate in a certain instance.
Agreed. But it's just like a lot of agencies, even that we're speaking to, like a few yesterday, were like, where our roles become more sales. You know, like they've made, and when we say sales, like that, I'm not saying it should be done that way, but I think they're trying to figure out, okay, someone's managing campaigns, but then they're like in the agency, but we'd also want you to go out and meet clients and like be showing face a bit more. That's a bit hectic.
Yeah.
But also, I think an agency yesterday got it like right pretty well. I'm like not going to name it, and I'm going to steal their ideas as well. But you know, they have someone specifically in sales that like looks after the clients, while maybe the person
what you
that's
need.
specific in one area can really focus on whether that's presenting or that's like optimizing campaigns. But then they have the dedicated sales, which means, of course, you're combining it to spend, but then you won't get the best results if you're combining the roles.
I agree.
Like,
keep marketing, and sales. Leave the sales people to do their job, because they know exactly what they're doing. They'll do it best. But if you're trying to merging
roles is just too much.
Yeah. So I think that's something that is putting off a lot of candidates in digital
and
at the
we're
moment.
experiencing that a lot at the moment.
More than normal.
Yeah.
Would you say?
But I think
I think so.
people are just thinking, what can they get for the buck? They know they can get loads.
But then it's not delivering, so they're like, oh, it's not the right person, but actually, you just did.
Exactly.
You gave them too much, and you gave them, and it was too wishy-washy.
So there's lots of people on the market, so they're just thinking, let's take
really
advantage of this. Let's get somebody to do everything. But when they come in, they've got 1 month to perform, and if they don't perform, they're out. So a lot of people who are in startups are thinking that way at the moment, which is a shame, really. But
I think it's definitely good to keep it clear from the get-go. So at interview, if someone's saying, I want you to do sales, then that's the best place to actually make your decision.
Needs to be clear KPIs.
Yeah. So that's one thing. And then in terms of, I think I'm just trying to think of other interviews, things that have put people off. I think definitely a big thing is culture fit, but you can't you can't necessarily change your personality. But I think if people are saying maybe inappropriate things in interviews.
I've had loads of situations where you have like an old school CFO or commercial director.
Yeah.
And he's asking women, that we've had this loads of times. So, what's your family situation? Oh, I've got 2 kids. Are you planning to have any more?
Yeah, do not ask that question. Just don't.
People ask that literally
don't
all
ask
the
that
time.
Question.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I think I heard that maybe a couple of times. I'd say
Yeah.
it's less.
I
It's
think
less
ones that I've
often
had that
now.
I've said no to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you get the founder, you're like, I'm just not going to work with you. Some people have
Yeah.
said, but I get the market now where people are like, I just want a job, but you're going to be probably out of a job faster if you don't blend with that founder.
Exactly.
So you'd
Yeah.
rather like spend time building your networks now than just choosing a job that you're really going to hate. Of course, I get people need to pay bills and that's different.
Yeah.
Then do part-time work and like pick up freelancers
Exactly.
jobs. Go to sites like Upwork or whatever. Like if you need to pick up freelance work, do that.
What's it work like anyway?
Oh,
Just-
you want to talk about that as a topic? I absolutely love it. I
for like
think
CMOs.
there's actually a lot
Yeah.
on there. So I know we're going off topic and maybe if people care about this topic, let us know and we can talk about it. But there's a lot of new like freelancing sites.
Okay.
That like we find amazing talent on there when we actually want to get someone that's excellent for something that's
Yeah.
at a senior level. If we're really
Okay.
struggling to hire someone full time.
And it's all remote.
Yeah.
These people work remote.
Yeah, but they're
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
But some of them are charging, like on there, you'll see people are charging really like more expensive rates than agencies. Like, and
Really?
you end up spending more. Like they're spending, okay, so let's say someone's charging $200 an hour,
Yeah.
but you're doing a huge amount of work. It's like for paid or a marketing strategy. There's a lot of people doing marketing strategies on Upwork, just like very senior, come from huge brands. So I think there's like, it's kind of going off topic. I think that's like a wild new kind of world of what people are going into. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to the bad hiring stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if an
You have to
interview's
gel.
really short, you've got to go on gut feel. But if an interview's
Yeah.
really short, so we've had loads of situations with startups. Like you're in growth phase at the moment, aren't you?
Love growth.
You literally don't have time, and you just want to secure good talent quickly.
Yeah.
But if you have a half an hour, 40-minute interview, and then put an offer out, that does put a lot of candidates off. And it
I'm not
does
going to lie, the
Depends
market's
the
weird for
level.
hiring. Of course, you
Yeah.
guys can tell me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but even when we're hiring staff, we will put the role out on more of a freelancer site because we want more entrepreneur vibes. We want people that like know how to work in like
Gritty.
growth,
Yeah.
gritty,
Yeah.
Roll up
and then
the
we'll
sleeves.
also put
Do
it
a
on
grey.
LinkedIn. But a lot of businesses are wanting people that are like in the detail, gritty, etc. So you kind of actually, like you're kind of wanting more people that either come from a referral. So you trust them,
Yes,
and you know they've been
referrals
it.
key.
Freelance, you kind of already know that they've dealt with like the pain of a lot of the shit. And then full timers, I've kind of like on LinkedIn, I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure. So it's like a bit, there's a lot of choice. I would say like, even with, I think we're speaking to some people yesterday, some people are just holding on making the decision. Like, so it's not a you problem sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like actually they're really trying to find a unicorn sometimes.
Yeah, that's always been a problem with this unicorn kind of hire.
The hiring people are stressed about that hire on the reflection of themselves, right?
Exactly.
And if they're
Yeah.
going to lose their job. So I think
Because
it's
they're going to be in
like,
the crosshairs if they don't get it right.
I think
there's
the
too
key
much
thing,
uncertainty from
Yeah.
which is the
yeah,
problem.
but I think the key thing is just pick the main, again, like going off a bit off topic, but pick the main things that are important and then be open. So if you're just literally looking for someone to tick every single box, you're going to be looking for a hell of a long time or a lot
I just
longer
care if
than
I'm
you
like
want
cool.
to.
They love the same speed as me.
Yeah.
Like if they
That's
can
a big thing
operate
for-
like
yeah.
that. For
Yeah,
me,
yeah. That's
it's
a
more.
big
I had
thing.
a call with someone and I like checked all of their. Yes, they had good technical knowledge. Great, I could teach them a bit more. I'm okay with the gaps. And then I was like, great, this person will operate like me and not have an issue.
Yeah.
Like that we're chatting or whatever. It is really passionate. Like one I hired and the first day they were like, here's all the ideas that I've got is proactive stuff, and I was like,
Yeah,
great.
I think everyone's looking for that.
Yeah.
100%. And
Yeah.
you do need to have
And that
that
was the
gel.
entrepreneur. Like that was that vibe I wanted.
You have to have that gel. And proactivity is the key thing that everyone's looking for. But I think, so with the levels, sometimes 30 minutes is fine. Sometimes 30,
Do you
40
think?
minutes.
I mean,
But-
I couldn't
What,
hire
for
off 30
what?
minutes for a
No, I
person.
know, but it
I
depends
can.
on...
Even-
I'm like,
even
if
if
I
you get
have
a
20
good
minutes,
vibe.
I have 20 minutes just to get the vibe at the first meet, and then
Yeah.
I'll do an hour for like a case study or something.
You do know in the
Yeah,
first
but
10
I
minutes
do-
if you like them
you
or
do.
not.
Oh,
Yeah.
first 10.
Yeah.
First,
And then you're like, oh God, I've got 10 minutes left of like, what am I going to do for
Yeah.
this chat?
probably first
Wrap it
minute, first couple of minutes.
Like we just hired Olivia, who's the marketing exec
She's
for
amazing.
the podcast,
Yeah.
and we knew within literally
Sorry,
5 minutes.
Ruby,
Yeah.
love Ruby too, but
Yeah.
Olivia, great new shout.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
I
true,
think-
though.
But that's what I mean. Gut feel is really important. So if you're going to an interview and you're just like, I can't work for this person, don't force it
Yeah.
because your gut is most likely going to be right. And you have to be open about that. If a lot of feedback can be top level because actually it's just because they just didn't like that person.
Yeah.
they're just like, I can't actually work with this person. So I think that's fine.
And then on the flip side, so if you're a hiring manager or you're a business owner recruiting a first marketing team, what are the red flags from candidates' perspective? Like,
I think we could do a whole episode on this, don't you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
We can obviously
100%.
cover
do
a
a
bit
longer
and then we
episode.
can do
Yeah.
another one. So you guys go first.
It's very different in sales, I would say.
Sales is different to
versus
marketing.
Digital.
Like you
And
like proactivity.
Yeah, you have to have that in sales. That's
Yeah.
like a non-negotiable. I think if you can't really see that, I think in sales it's more kind of being hungry, being proactive. Resilient is a key thing, but you can also learn resilience, but you have to have like a basis of it.
Yeah. And show
100%.
examples. Yeah.
Show examples. It's more about the kind of, it's so loosely termed in sales, isn't it? But it's like the get up and go.
Yeah.
And that's not a tangible skill set.
Yeah.
But actually it is, because you'd be surprised that it's not really for everyone.
But it's the basics as well. So if you're a founder or an owner of the business and you're getting somebody coming through the door, they're not done any research, they're not giving any figures, they haven't got energy, they haven't got any get up and go.
Yeah, that's a big
show
red
them
flag.
the door. Because if you're a founder,
in a
it's a
nice
startup,
way, but
you
you
want
know it's
somebody
not
who's
going to work.
proactive.
Yeah, I think that is. Do you know what? That is such a big thing. The amount of feedback that I've had from clients where they're just sort of saying they didn't do their research, they didn't even know the brands that we have. And I'm thinking, if you're interviewing, even if you're doing 10 interview processes, you have to research.
Know the brand.
If you're going to the brand and you're just sort of saying, just tell me a bit about yourself,
just shows
that's
a lack
fine.
of care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It shows a lack of care, and then no one wants that, because everyone wants to know that you really care about the brand, your brand, you're passionate, and you want to work there. So if you're just sort of saying, no, I haven't really checked out your sites, I don't really know too much. If you're going for a paid social role, you don't know the channels that they're on, you don't know what their paid social activity is, what you're doing. If you're going for a CRM role, sign up to their emails. So you can comment on them on the interviews. So I think people have to do that. So that is a massive red flag, and it's one that's still happening very often.
Yeah, and you're hiring at the moment. So what are some of the red flags that you're seeing, just on CVs or maybe process or anything like that?
So many things. I'm going to only touch on one thing before I dive into that, which was on yesterday. Someone said they're getting so many interviews, or they're getting a few.
Yeah.
And she said, it's just killing me, the fact that like you get turned down and they said, oh, we're actually going to go for someone more junior. And you're like,
that's happening a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll become more junior. And then you don't want to sound desperate on the call.
Yeah. So you can't say that.
I don't think there's an easy way to win it back from that position, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not really an easy win, but
I think it's a value exchange. So if the client
I agree.
If the client sees it for what it is, if they don't have a lot of budget, they've got 75k for a head of digital, they're interviewing a 100k candidate. That candidate has been through 10 processes, can't get a job, and has said, I'll do 75k. As that business owner, you need to realize, I'm going to get 100k candidates for 75k, but I'm going to have them for a year. And I'm going to lock them in with the strategy.
But what I've had that before where a while ago where I was like, oh, was it me or someone saying, oh, you know what, I'm happy to be flexible in my salary or something. And I don't know if you guys think it's a good look when you're like, oh, actually, I'll just take less money. Don't worry, whatever. And it's like a 40k difference. And they're like, oh, you know what? I sometimes you just kind of think, I kind of think like it turns me off the cat. Not turns me off them. It's really nice they're saying that. But then you're like, and we just don't think it's going to work out in the long run. Then so I don't think the candidate, so anyone listening, I don't think they should downgrade their salary. Do you think?
It's basic human psychology.
You have to state it from the get-go. You can't. It's not about flip-flopping, I suppose. So if you say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, and then all of a sudden you're getting to a point later down the line and you think, oh, actually, I'm just going to do this, it will be quite transparent to the client. So I think you need to.
Someone said, I just wanted the job, I'm happy to take it, and I'm like, I don't even think saying you're going to reduce your salary will work. Is what I'm saying.
Potentially not. I think clients 100% always think that.
They will always
feel
be
weird,
worried. Then we said before, if you have a gut feeling you feel weird, they just shut it down.
100%.
So I think you can't.
Here's the process
feeling
of what to do to make it look good and not sound desperate. So you're in front of the founder. The founder said, I've got 75k. You've told them I was last on 100k. What you then say is, okay, I'll start with you for 75k. Confidence. Then in 6 months, let's put some deliverables on the table. If I deliver this, I increase the profitability by A, B, and C, or get the conversion to so and so. In 6 months' time, you get that back up to 100 and let me prove myself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of effort. If the budget is 75k and they say, well,
because you're increasing profit, you're bringing more money into the business.
But I'm seeing 5 people who are looking for 75k.
But they're not.
How can you compete with that?
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
like,
like-
how do you then compete with it in that sense?
And then
Yeah,
I
Jack?
know that I can.
Well, you just say you either can get a 75k candidate who's going from 65 to 75k,
And
or you can get a
stepping up,
100k
yeah.
candidate who's going from 100 to 75. And if I promise you
If
this,
someone is listening to this and not catching his numbers, like you're going quick. I love it.
sorry.
No, I love it. So keep going.
But in 6 months' time, if you don't bring me on a contract.
Yeah,
In
I
6
think
months,
that's
if
a
I
good
get
way
this,
to do it.
put
That's
me
a
on
good way to
perm.
do it. Yeah.
Put me on perm in 6 months' time and give me
People
100.
don't even
That's a
get to
good
the
way to
chance
do
of
it.
having these deep and meaningful chats, though. I know that sounds convincing, and I'm like, great, I'll hire you. But sometimes people like on the chat, they're just like, well, someone
You have
yesterday
to
was like, it's
information
so
gather.
hard. But it's so hard in these conversations people are having of like an interview. It's like I shut my interviews down pretty quick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's why like people are like, oh, I just wanted another chance to speak to them, and I would have had that opportunity of like, but I don't want to sound desperate. So it's kind of like. There's obviously this.
Yeah.
We're tough on time, so I think it's like we could do another episode, obviously,
Yeah,
about
true,
this.
part
But
two,
it could
yeah.
be like, okay, there's obviously those ones that are really slow in the pipeline as well. So for some people, it's not a you thing. It can actually just be that it's a them thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
they just don't. They're not feeling it, and
They're not
I
feeling it.
agree with you. Like a lot
And
of
it's
people
just the
want
market
to
of
go back.
uncertainty.
Exactly, and a lot of people want to go back and think, oh, if I just had 10 more minutes,
You can't.
Actually,
You
the
can't.
10 minutes
do
don't
not
matter.
go back. They
Yeah.
will literally
Yeah.
never speak to you again.
They don't. It doesn't matter. Don't
It'd be
reach
weird.
out
It's
to
like
them.
an ick. It's like a kind of relationship thing. It's a bit of an ick.
Yeah.
It's like
an
don't be
ick, yeah.
desperate in a relationship, so you can't be desperate with your. Oh, God,
With your-
how sad is that?
Yeah, your prospective hirer. If
But
they don't want you, then they
It's
don't
like
want
in
you.
your head too. Like obviously you guys don't deal with like you're not looking for jobs, right? But like I've seen like lots of people I've been around, and even my partner in years, and even when I was looking for one, is you just like it consumes your whole life. Like
Yeah,
you
I
cannot
get
stop
that.
thinking
No,
about
I
it.
get that.
Like you go to bed thinking about like all the different
And then you wake up in
what
the
they're
morning.
saying, and then
Yeah.
you're just waiting for an offer. Like I remember it, and I was like, the interview process is awful.
Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah.
awful. So I
No,
think
I
I'm just telling
understand.
people it's literally awful. And then you're like, can I do it right? Can I not? And some people have been without a job for like 10 months at the moment
Yeah.
that have got
Yeah.
insane experience.
Yeah.
So I think like for them, it's like they've just got to get out there and network and do events, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
referral,
really big,
lots of
right?
events.
Networking,
many
tap into your
people-
network, definitely.
So many people are saying the events, the in real
Person.
life events are so massive for those connections.
Yeah.
Do them.
And it's not
Do
about
them.
like, oh, you're hiring. It might be like, oh, cool, let's grab coffee. And like, if you need help on something, I'm
Yes.
happy to help you out for free right now.
Yeah.
Like, as in,
Yeah.
like, I'm
Yeah.
happy to help you out. Let's have a coffee. All of my stuff has happened
Start
from
reeling
that.
them in. Reel
Yeah.
them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffees, communities.
Coffee,
Community.
Get in those
communities,
chats.
freebies,
Wait,
free
where's
time,
the C's? Coffee, community, and
cookies,
cookies.
Cheesecake.
cheesecake. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
cheesecake.
exactly what that was a trick
Exactly.
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're probably out of time.
Let's do
We're-
a part
yeah.
two.
Let's
We'll
do a part two.
If you want to hear anything else in part two, let us
Follow.
know. And follow us on Instagram,
sign
TikTok,
up. Yeah.
YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
Oh, God. Nailed it.
Awesome. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
See you next
guys.
time.